A 3-time MVP. We know who it's going to be. The question is that a problem?
Time to re-up YouTube. Your boy Mustard is back with another video, and we are here to talk about some MVP convo in the NBA and why some people are so mad about Nikola Jokic potentially winning 3, not 1, 2, but 3 straight MVPs in a row. Regular season MVPs. Keep that in mind because we're going to get to that in a second. If you didn't see the All-Star draft, then I don't blame you because the All-Star game these days, they aren't that exciting. But if you didn't see, Nikola Jokic was drafted second to last right before Larry Markkinen among the starters, obviously. It was a pretty funny moment. Jokic saw that it was between him and Larry to be the last pick among the starters, and he just walked to LeBron and said, hey man,
I didn't see the
don't
draft.
do me like that.
Funny.
Come on, man. Funny. Pick me. that was pretty funny. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I love Jokic, but that was pretty tough that he was about to be the last pick. Who knows? Maybe LeBron would have picked Larry. I really doubt it, but hey, who really knows, right?
I don't even think Mustard is saying this a big deal, but personally, I didn't think it was. Jokic is not an all-star game player. His game is just not built for the all-star game. So I ain't gonna lie, if it's the all-star game, I am picking Kyrie over Jokic. So
yeah, Jokic's game. I mean, for me, before y'all start, for me it's fun, but for a lot of people, this game ain't like one of the funnest games to see. I want to see Kyrie getting the motherfucking Gucci. So yeah, I get it.
Like I'd rather see like insane off the dribble perimeter shot creators, or even just like run and dunk big men before Jokic. Facts. If I'm being completely honest, so
it sparked another conversation about if Jokic deserves this MVP award, which I feel like we've had this conversation each and every single time he's won an MVP. They did it the first time, the second time, and they're doing it again this year. And with that being said, I just want to talk about this award and why I think a lot of people have an issue with it and why they shouldn't, but I understand why. You feel me? There's a lot of hypocrisy around this award. Now, before I get really deep into this convo, let me just start off by saying I do not hate Nikola Jokic. I just think that there are certain standards that are given to him that aren't given to other players in the NBA. Good and bad for his case. And what I mean by that is when you look at the MVP award throughout NBA history, there's always been an underlying criteria, but never a straightforward one because it can change from year to year. But for the most part, it's given to the best player on one of the top teams in either conference. They're putting up great numbers and they obviously have a huge impact on winning. Now in certain years like there can be outliers, like we saw Russell Westbrook when he won the MVP as a 6th seed in the Western Conference, but he had the numbers and he also had a narrative on his side. Now I don't think narrative really should matter in these conversations, and for the most part I don't think it's like the biggest thing in these MVP convos, but it can help your case. In the case of Westbrook when he won in 2017 as a 6th seed in the West, which was an outlier season, not only was he averaging a triple-double for the first time since the 60s where Oscar Robertson did it only one time, it was something that we thought we'd never see again, and it came from a player who had just lost his co-star in KD and was seen as one of the most beloved stars in the league at the time, of course. Now Westbrook would then go on to make the triple-double kind of like an everyday thing in the league, but at the end of the day, Russell Westbrook at the time, that was something that we thought it was never gonna happen again. Like people always saw guys like LeBron, Jason Kidd put up good triple-doubles here and there, and a lot of them in regular seasons, but Westbrook came along and made averaging a triple-double a norm. He did it for 3 straight seasons. Then later in his career, after he didn't do it in Houston, he went to Washington and did it there. I mean, he truly made a triple-double clockwork in the NBA. And because of that, many people look back at his MVP season and say, yeah, it was great, but why did we give him the MVP over Harden, who was a 3rd seed in the West and was only like a couple of rebounds off from doing it himself?
I just want to interrupt. Can we not act dumb, bro? Can we not? Like, just to say that Russ only won MVP in 2017 just because he averaged a triple-double. Number one, narrative did have to, it did have a factor in it. With KD leaving, Russ have to solo squad, and him solo squatting to the highest degree. But also, even statistically speaking, a 30-point triple-double, averaging a 30-point triple-double is not the same as even Russ averaging 23, 10, and 10. It's just not, dog. I'm sorry to tell you. Yeah,
the Russ PRA, oh my God. That, I ain't gonna lie. y'all lucky I was young at that point, man. I would have been a rich man. Russ over every night. Holy shit, I would have got paid.
A triple-double this year, but I don't even think that that's the big deal of his season this year, because let's be real here. Yes, the triple-double is impressive, but he was slated to win even before he got to that triple-double mark a couple of weeks ago in the regular season. So I don't want to hear the triple-double being the reason why he's going to win. He won back-to-back in the past 2 years without even averaging a triple-double. So I don't think the triple-double is the big deciding factor for Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, I don't even think the triple-double matters at all. I truly feel like if Jokic was averaging the same numbers, but like 9 rebounds and 9 assists, or like 12 rebounds and 9 assists, or whatever it is, him specifically averaging double digits in 3 categories is not the reason why he's winning MVP. It's the fact that he's putting up close to triple-double numbers and also being a high-volume scorer while having like insane efficiency. Like just fucking bonkers efficiency.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The triple-double thing I say matters in the sense of it shut down any other name. Like, you know how we was dragging the arguments until like early February. Once that triple-double was locked, it was like, we're trolling. We're trolling. It's Jokic.
The lack of consistency when it comes to the player that they're going to pick to win this award. I mean, just think about it here. One season, Nikola Jokic wins as the 3rd seed, and they tell Joel Embiid, hey man, you just didn't play enough games. Even though your Sixers are the 1 seed, you missed a huge chunk of the season, and we can't just give it to you. And I thought that was fair. Availability is the best ability, so I have no problem with that whatsoever. But then the next year, Joel Embiid is still one of the top seeds in the Eastern Conference, and Nikola Jokic still wins the MVP as the 6th seed. And I like Jokic, but I always thought that was a problem. Don't get me wrong, I didn't hate it, because at the end of the day, Jokic was putting up great numbers, and he was missing Jamal Murray and MPJ for most, if not all, of the season. So him being able to avoid the play-in scenario and leading them to a 6th seed, it was still MVP caliber play. But considering that he was coming off of an MVP the previous season, Joel Embiid was the runner-up, and he's the runner-up in this scenario, and Jokic has now fallen to a 6th seed, I would expect at least some voter fatigue to affect Jokic enough to the point that Joel Embiid wins. But unfortunately,
no, you know what it is? It's Embiid fatigue. That's what's going on. This motherfucker's been a runner-up for so many years. It's like, he gonna be a runner. He gonna be a runner-up again this year. I ain't gonna lie. Like we're used to it at this point. No cap.
Is he the Kevin Wayne of centers? Oh fuck. Oh man, because Giannis. Oh Lord, he might be. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Hey, and James Harden was the Kevin Wayne of MVPs for like 5 years. So
yeah, he was the Kevin Wayne of point guards. Oh man.
And Doc Rivers.
Kevin Wayne the coach. Shut up, KD. I love you, bro, but it's just that damn. Yeah. L draw.
I just want to look up Jokic versus Embiid in 2021. So Jokic in 2021, this was his first MVP season, averaged 26, 11, and 8, played 72 games, with MPJ missing like 20 games, Jamal missing like 30 games, and they were still able to win 47 games, 3rd seed in the West. Now we look at the Philadelphia 76ers. They win 49 games, albeit being the number 1 seed. It's literally only 2 more wins in, at the time, I would say a weaker conference. At least that was the narrative. And then Embiid played like 20 less games than Jokic. So if we look at it from that perspective, let's just go year by year. Sage, who would you pick as MVP?
Jokic.
Okay. Because I feel like with a lot of these conversations, you can make these arguments that sound good, but let's just take it year by year. Because I'm going to be honest, as NBA fans, as a whole, as a collective, I do not think we are dumb enough to just give the MVP to some motherfucker that didn't deserve it. Like, there's always a reason as to why these players got the MVP, and it wasn't just some, this guy was robbed like crazy. Nah, like, the guy who got it had a crazy year. So 2021, we can agree that Jokic deserved it there.
Unless you want to get that shit to Wardelius. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I ain't gonna say too much. Unless you want to give that to Wardell.
Hey, if you're a Steph Curry fan, that's fine. But in this conversation, it is about Embiid and Jokic. We can agree that at least that year, I think Jokic cleared. Then we go into last year. The Denver Nuggets win 48 games. Jokic averages 27, 14, and 8 on 58% shooting. All right. This is with Jamal Murray missing all of the season. And MPJ playing 9 games and playing ass in those 9 games. So let's just keep that in mind. And then we had Joel Embiid in the Philadelphia 76ers winning 51 games, 3 more wins than the Denver Nuggets. If you want to argue it's still in the weaker conference, you can go ahead and do that. Joel Embiid averages 31, 12, and 4. Great numbers. 50% from the field. Great numbers. Plays 68 games in comparison to Jokic, who played 74 games. So the gap isn't that big to say that, like, Jokic just played a crazy amount more games. But based off of that, Sage, who would you give the MVP to last year?
Jokic.
Okay. I just wanted to do a quick exercise just to check if, like, we were so crazy to give Jokic the MVP the last 2 years over Embiid specifically.
That's why niggas is mad. It actually goes to bro. That's the whole point. Yeah, that's really what it is.
That's what pisses me off with Jokic. It's like, yeah, I really want to make the case for Tatum, right? But, like, I'm looking at what bro is doing. I'm like, I can't, bro. Unless I'm literally trolling, I cannot make the case for Jason Tatum over Jokic, aside from the fact that the Boston Celtics have a better record than the Nuggets. And even now, that's like, what, half a game?
Yeah, you losing everything, man.
Great season last year, by the way. You could argue his best regular season to date. He didn't come in second place either. He was third. Jokic would win the MVP over 2 guys that were top seeds in their conference and still playing relatively at the same level as Nikola Jokic. So I understand why a lot of people looked at the award last year and said, you're changing the criteria again. First, it was about health and games played. Now Joel Embiid has that, Giannis has that, and they're losing to the same guy as he is the 6th seed in the Western Conference.
No, it's because Jokic
unfair.
Had that too.
You're moving the goalpost every single
Jokic
time.
Didn't lose that
now
advantage.
This year it's about, Jokic is putting up better numbers than his MVP season the year prior.
Also,
well,
MVP
no shit he's doing
sense.
that when he has more work to do on the team with players like Jamal Murray and MPJ missing all of the season. It doesn't mean that Jokic can't put up great numbers even when they're playing. I mean, we're seeing it this season. He's putting up incredible numbers, but if his numbers improve from a season where he did have those guys on the team, well, no shit, his numbers are gonna look better when they're not there. I love Jokic, but I do understand why people were upset seeing how they changed the criteria for him last year. It doesn't mean he didn't have an MVP caliber season, but you can't keep moving the goalpost for players that you like. I mean, think about it. When he won the MVP in 2021, let's not forget that not only Joel Embiid was second, but Steph Curry was third. And what was the argument used against him? Well, not only did your team miss the playoffs, even though it's a regular season award, but they weren't even a top 7 seed. They were the 8th seed in the Western Conference. If you can effectively damn near remove someone from the MVP convo because of seeding, why is this guy winning the conversation when he's the 6th seed? It just doesn't make sense. It's a lack of consistency there.
Yeah, I'm about to say, okay, so again, let's go back and do our homework. In 2021, the 8th seed was the Golden State Warriors, and they won 39 games. Mind you, this is a season where there was 72 games in the season. That's a 54% winning percentage. So in a regular 82 game season, that's around 44 win season, in the 82 game season. And then the 6th seed that year, or the 3rd seed that year, which was the Denver Nuggets, won 47 games with a winning percentage of 65%. And in a regular season, that is a like 54 win season. That's a pretty big fucking gap, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
I brought him up early in the video. Curry did have a case. It's just, I think he fell a bit short considering the whole thing was he's dragging this really, really, really bad team to the 8th seed. But I think when you get eliminated, and we talk about narrative, when you get eliminated and it's supposed to be a regular season award, for every person that's like, oh, but it's a regular season award, bro, there's a person that's like, nigga didn't make the playoffs. So you can't tell me that a voter in there didn't have that in their mind and then voted that, bro. And this whole narrative, and this whole video has been based off of inconsistent MVP voting. Welcome to the NBA. I'm not saying that in the way of caping for Jokic. I'm just saying, bro, welcome to the NBA. Like, what are we doing? Kobe Bryant. Hello? like, what are we doing?
I just don't think it's that inconsistent when you just look at it from a year-to-year perspective. Like, don't look at, like, years in the past. Just look at, like, this year. Who do you think deserves MVP off of, like, who's having the best season? I think the problem is, like, the ambiguity and, like, what the best season means. But, again, if we go back to the last 2 years and look at the top MVP candidates, you can clearly see why Jokic won those years. Like, it's not like we just gave it to Jokic just because, you know. But.
And then that brings us to this season where Nikola Jokic is on pace to win his 3rd straight MVP. And what's crazy is they are the #1 seed in the Western Conference. It shouldn't even be controversial that he's gonna win another MVP. But the problem is the media's voting and the lack of consistency. I mean, think about it. Steve Nash was on one of the top teams in the Western Conference in 2007 with the Suns. He had better numbers than his previous MVP season in 05 and 06. You could argue the best season of his career, especially at that point in his career, and he still didn't win the MVP. He didn't even come close to winning the MVP because to them it's like, yo, we've given this guy back-to-back MVPs. We can't give him 3 straight. So instead of him winning, Dirk ended up winning the award, and rightfully so. His team was the 1 seed. Hell, you can look at Giannis when he won back-to-back MVPs. What did they say after he lost to the Heat? Oh, there's no way he's gonna win that MVP award next year. It doesn't matter what his numbers look like. He just won back-to-back MVPs, and he lost in the playoffs, going out hella sad against the Raptors, blowing a 2-0 lead, and against the Heat, losing to a 5 seed in the bubble in 5 games.
He can't win MVP
we don't care if
this
this guy
season.
averages 50 and 30. We're not giving him the MVP until he actually gets it done in the playoffs. That was the narrative about Giannis at the time.
Maybe we was just on different Twitter spaces, but who said, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Giannis can average 50 and 30, but we not, who said that, bro?
After you lost to Miami, yeah, you're done. But I've never heard that ever. If anything, someone would be like, oh yeah, Giannis about to be on demon timing, and he's gonna win MVP next year. Like that would, that's new. I hear a lot of shit on the internet. That's new. I don't know what space you were in, honey. My Mr. Mustard. I apologize.
Out there and had a great year in 2021 and in 2022 last year, didn't win the MVP, didn't even finish as the runner-up for the award. And I honestly have no issue with that because it's been consistent with the past. We've seen numerous players from LeBron James to Michael Jordan win multiple MVPs, whether it's back-to-back or throughout a time period, and they just stop them and say, you know what, we can't give you any more because of voters fatigue. And unfortunately, neither of those unspoken rules that I just named apply to Jokic, unlike the other players of the past. Jokic has not even made it to the Western Conference Finals outside of a bubble dome in Orlando. In the MVP seasons he's had, he lost in the 2nd round to the Phoenix Suns, being swept and playing like shit on defense, getting cooked and abused by D-Book and Chris Paul like target practice. And then the next year in his 2nd MVP campaign, he was gentleman swept by the Golden State Warriors, putting up great offensive numbers, but defensively he was atrocious. I mean, we're talking about Jordan Poole getting a max contract on top of his head. And sure,
I would actually make the argument that if anything over the last couple of years, it has been more consistent compared to years past, because I feel like ever since Jokic won his first MVP, it has been more stats and impact based. And while you can say, oh, but they didn't start that in 2015 or whatever the fuck, I mean, I guess, but at that point it's like, okay, you thought it was a problem back then when there was a lot of winning bias, and now that the league has actually changed to not having a lot of winning bias, now it's a problem. It's a problem. So like they actually fixed the thing that you talked about, and now it's a problem. It's just the case of this year, Jokic literally has both the winning argument and the stats argument, so everyone just needs to shut the fuck up and give him MVP.
Hey, no cap. You kind of hinted at what I was gonna say at the end of the video, but it makes sense to say it right now. I don't understand why we care. And it's not on some I love Jokic shit. Seriously. In an era of basketball where motherfuckers are dropping 70, 60, 20 games, you're going to look at these stats and you're going to say, yeah, these were easily the top 10 players. Oh, wait, no, it was just the 2020s. No, and like they're still not better than a guy that averaged like 25, even though he's averaging 30, right? Like think of the era of basketball we're in. Records are getting broken left and right every other day. There's the first person that got 30 with an inhaler or some shit. Like, It's records breaking left and right. But for some reason, winning 3 MVPs in a row is this holy great. Why do we care? like we know it's going to happen. If it's not Jokic, fun fact, it's going to happen to someone else, and it's not going to be on some 90s, 80s specific timing. Motherfuckers, someone's going to drop 82. I'm going to cry in the car when it happens, because that motherfucker ain't going to be better than Kobe. But he going to have that record. It's how it's going to go.
Motherfuckers just want to beat to have an MVP. That's what it is, bro.
That's what it is. No, seriously.
That's what it is.
And y'all, look, y'all pull this card on us negatively. So I'm asking for this card whenever I nastily pull it to be positive for once. Y'all give me and Souls a lot of shit for being these YouTuber basketball guys. Let me tell you something. The amount of DMs, but no, for real, the amount of DMs we get, I'm sure he's gotten. I know I've gotten. The amount of chat, all that shit about, oh, bro, Joel Embiid, bro, he ain't getting it. I don't know what to tell you. Stop crying. That's really all it is. Luka fans don't care. They just want you to call him the GOAT. And I do it because he is the GOAT. Tatum fans don't really give a fuck. They're locked in on the season. It's just them. If we're being honest, it's just them.
It's literally just Embiid. I'm thinking about it, bro. It's literally just Embiid and Jokic fans defending Jokic because Embiid fans are going so hard because Jokic is gonna get MVP. It's just Embiid fans, dog. Like, shut up. Damn. Win a championship. How about that? Get to the conference finals.
I'ma name people as Mustard, as Swish, and Low. Ask any of your favorite content creators what fan base you think is pushing back the most. They will say Embiid. It's not. That's damn near a fact. Take it from the YouTuber man.
LeBron and Laker fans do not care about the MVP race. Kevin Durant fans do not care about the MVP race.
Don't care.
Curry fans have given up on the season, if I'm being completely honest with you. Kyrie fans, they just want him to, like, have good rep in the league at this point. Celtics fans, we worried about bigger and better things. You see what I'm saying? So fuck this conversation.
Here you go.
Now, Donovan Mitchell fans, they don't like.
They're not even loud enough. They don't.
Really think about it, chat. It's literally just Embiid fans, dog. That's it.
Say the playoffs should bear no impact on whoever's gonna win the MVP, but unfortunately we've seen in the past, we saw Giannis when he lost to the Heat. They were basically saying, we're not giving him another MVP. You keep selling in the playoffs in your MVP seasons. How can we keep giving you the MVP? At the end of the day, recency bias does affect a lot of players. You can look at James Harden. You telling me that his playoff flameouts didn't affect how some of these media members looked at him, especially when it came to some of these MVP convos? But then with Jokic, it's a different story. And the same thing applies when it comes to voter fatigue. It seems like they have none of that when it comes to Jokic. I mean, LeBron won back-to-back MVPs and was on pace to win his third one, but they said, nah, let's give it to D-Rose because we can't give it to LeBron. He just joined the Miami Heat. It's too much voter fatigue as well. He just gave him back-to-back MVPs. Even though he had better numbers and was just clearly the best player in basketball, even in that regular season. So when people say they have an issue with Jokic,
I just think with Jokic this season, it's such a clear of like, yo, if you don't vote Jokic, you just don't like Jokic at this point. Because again, like he literally has the stats and the winning. Like there's nothing you can really say about Jokic's argument unless you want to be petty and pull some like what. Nah, I'm not saying what Mustard is doing, but what Mustard is talking about some inconsistency shit. So I mean, if we voted for Jokic last season, I'm gonna vote for Embiid this season. Like, all right, dog. All right.
Exactly. Thank you. The problem with what Mustard is saying, maybe he's not representing, but saying, this video is implying that the voter fatigue inconsistency should surpass the clear-cut shit. Maybe if this was year 2, okay. Maybe if this was year 1, okay. Year 3 MVP Jokic, I'm sorry. It's just on some Goku versus Naruto shit. It's just over. Let's go home. It's done. And you would literally be being the nasty. That's all it is. You are being the nasty if you said anybody else this year. Maybe year 2 debatable. Year 1 definitely debatable. It's tough.
Jokic winning 3 straight MVPs because they changed the criteria for players that they do like. I agree. I completely agree with that. Even if you think Jokic should win the MVP, you can't lie to yourself and say that they don't move the goalpost for him. Now, I have to also bring up the issue of race. I've been hearing that a lot over the last couple of weeks. If Nikola Jokic was black, they wouldn't be doing this. And look, I will say this, if you really do think about it, a lot of these media members, for the most part, are white men that did not make the NBA, probably didn't even play basketball growing up, or they just weren't good enough. They probably see themselves in Nikola Jokic a lot more than other players. And sure, Jokic is 7 feet tall, but he does not really have the body type of an NBA player, especially earlier on in his career. He was fat and out of shape. And when you throw in the fact that his analytics are just off the charts, and a lot of these media guys just focus in on analytics like Raptor or Vorp, I can understand people saying there's special treatment given to Jokic because of his race.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I truly think y'all are thinking too deep into this conversation specifically. That's just me. That's just me, man. I think we're overthinking it, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think like these voters want Jokic to win the MVP.
They don't.
If I'm being completely honest, it's just a matter of fact that, like, what is the case for Embiid? What is the case for Luka? What is the case for Tatum? What is the case for, I don't know, like LeBron? Like, are you really gonna vote LeBron for MVP?
That's so nasty. LeBron is insane.
You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, again, I'm not trying to say that racism is just gone. It doesn't matter. But I think in this conversation, I do not think there is bias towards Jokic just because he's white.
Man, bullshit. I'm popping the universe. Man, bullshit. I'm popping the Uno reverse card right here. If anything, the race shit is for Embiid. If anything, the race shit is for Embiid. It's like there's no way y'all gonna talk about this dude that's bad on defense, can't move, fat as shit, sloppy as hell, is better than Joel Embiid. That's what it really is. That's one. Not being a raccoon, it's true. And two, even if you dead ass thought there was some racial tension because they are elderly old white men voting, that's fine. That's also just true. Fair enough. You know what I know for a fact? Them elderly, white, old, potentially racist men ain't talking about some damn vote. That's not. I could put your life on it. Not mine. Mine too, but your life on it. Them elderly, potentially racist old white men are not sitting there talking about Nikola Jokic's Raptor. They're not. I guarantee you. Oh,
but
my
also,
God.
even let's stick to the fact that these guys are white men that have biases towards white people, so they're just gonna look at white players in the league. Voter fatigue is not exclusive to a race. I'm just saying. And if these are the same motherfuckers that have been voting and they really have voter fatigue,
give it to that Luka.
Give it to Luka.
give it to that Luka boy.
That's what I'm saying. Let's take a break this year and give it to Luka, because we're tired of giving Jokic MVP. So I don't know, man. That's just
Reach and foul again. I'll be blunt, because I'm a brother, and I know how some of the sensitive brothers and sisters be. No, not raccooning, but this one ain't it. Nah.
Black man myself, during Black History Month, I really don't think his race is that big of an issue here. Honestly, I don't. Jokic is still a very talented player and one of the 5 best players in the league, hands down, no matter what. He has to still play at a certain level to even be in consideration for this award. How are we just making this all about race? I don't know. At the end of the day, the problem is the voting. There's no set criteria for these awards, and it can always get muddied up depending on who is voting for the player. One media member may value just strictly stats, another media member may value strictly winning, another media member may value how impactful you are on both sides of the ball. And I think that's the true issue with this award. You just have different people that value different things, and with no real criteria, there's nothing stopping any media member from changing their criteria on a year-to-year basis, especially when it's certain players that they may not even like that they have to go up against. Let's be real here. You think a lot of these media members like the fact that Joel Embiid flops a lot, or they like his personality? They may not like him at all. Jokic is more likable to some of these guys and more relatable than a guy like Joel Embiid. I think if people
But I'm gonna be honest, I like that fact though, to be honest with you, the fact that it isn't like crazy consistent. Because if it really was just, hey, you the best player on the best record in the league. That would be so boring, dog. And you wouldn't want that. I'm be honest. You guys would not want like the MVP. You guys wouldn't want the MVP conversation to be that. And it's just a fact that like in some years, like this guy doing crazy shit individually is gonna outweigh this guy doing, you know, crazy shit on the winning side. But then there's gonna be another year where, yeah, there's this dude averaging 30 a game, but hey, this other guy is leading his team to 69 wins. Like, I think it's fine to have like that inconsistency and take those factors into account. And even if we look back historically, like I said, it is pretty consistent. I'm not even gonna lie, the criteria is pretty consistent. My take is that it has changed in 2021, and it was a gradual change of people paying attention to analytics much more. And if that's the change we're heading in, where there isn't much winning bias and people are looking at stats and impact more than just, hey, you the best player on the best team, I don't think that's a bad thing, and I don't think that's something to complain about.
Yeah, man. Last thoughts is I just hate when people forget that we're people and try to act like other people aren't people. Y'all know damn well y'all like the debates. Stop what we doing. Stop the bullshit. Y'all know damn well you like arguing with Unc in the barbershop who don't know none of the stats and only eye test versus you on your basketball reference laptop. Stop what we doing, bro. Don't ruin the game trying to be this perfect, super smart, super saiyan level genius. No, cut it out, bro. It's basketball. It's a sport. At its root, it's a game. All right? And we're going to have fun. We're going to view the game differently. That's what I think the beauty behind the voting is. It's just unfortunate that some of these motherfuckers stupid. But that's besides the point. Shout out to the mellow vote. But yeah.
No, the debates are fun, and they are a part of the game. Because I said this in the referee video, dog. If they truly called every foul to the rule book, you would not like this sport. If they made the MVP where it's just boop, 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 you got MVP, you would not like this sport. You just wouldn't. There would be no debate. It just wouldn't be as fun.
I actually no. No.
But shout out to Honey Mustard, man, for the video. His video will be linked in the description. And we'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace out.
Peace.